Hello, classmates. My project is called Administrative Support of Provisionally Licensed Special Education Teachers Amidst a Pandemic. Just to provide you a little bit of background about this project, right now I'm in the process of conducting a case study, primarily focusing on several journal prompts and semi-structured interviews with provisionally licensed special education teachers. So my plan is really to look at the results of that study to inform kind of my direction for dissertation. But I do really think that I will be utilizing a mixed methodology for my dissertation. So the goals for consultation. So what I really need assistance with is just providing feedback regarding the clarity of the research questions to research method, feedback related to data collection instruments, and feedback regarding data analysis techniques, specifically in terms of my quantitative methodologies that I will be utilizing. I have not taken an advanced quantitative course, so the more feedback that I get within the quantitative analysis piece, the better. So to give you a little bit of background about my project in general, so I'm really looking into this idea of the importance of administrative support in order to retain special education teachers. So there's a critical shortage among special education teachers within the United States. So 90% or 92% of states report a shortage. So due to these critical vacancies, states have been provided autonomy by federal legislation through like Every Student Succeeds Act to determine the teacher quality and certification pathways, which include these like provisional licensing routes. So one of the problems within these underqualified teachers coming into the field of special education is that they leave within the first 3 to 5 years. So one of my questions initially when I was looking at this topic is, why are they leaving and how can they be better supported so that that doesn't happen? So administrators play a critical role to provide adequate supports to retain special education teachers in the field. So within this conceptual framework, so I have been working on this conceptual framework since Portfolio 1. So this conceptual framework really looks at how special education teacher qualifications influence like how administrative support are situated, and as well as what are the effective reactions of that administrative support. So for example, if teachers are provided adequate administrative support, they'll experience higher levels of job satisfaction, which in turn will influence them to stay in the field. So more research is needed to explore the relationships between these malleable factors, effective reactions, and career decisions of special education teachers. So this conceptual framework incorporates House's 1981 theory of social support and Billingsley's 1993 conceptual model of career decisions. So really, again, this conceptual framework demonstrates how variables can influence special education teachers' career decisions and identify potential relationships between the variables. So these are my research questions for the mixed method study. So I apologize for there being a lot of text on the screen, but I just want to give you a few seconds to read over the different types of research questions. Okay. So within the research method, so within our Kramer text, there was this great key features visual that I wanted to be able to utilize. So within the research method, I'm really looking into using separate and sequential data collection. And the way that I plan on doing this is through utilizing first a quantitative data collection structure, utilizing a questionnaire, then going into the qualitative piece, which will be semi-structured interviews, and then being able to look at data analysis of the quantitative piece, the qualitative piece, and then combining those methods with the purpose being complementarity. So the value added within looking at this type of method is really to collect data from various provisionally licensed special education teacher perspectives, both through a quantitative and qualitative method, producing more thorough understanding of a complex phenomenon. So being able to look at this idea of administrative support amidst a pandemic, and then being able to utilize random sampling to randomly select participants for the qualitative phase. So within the quantitative data collection, my hope is to be utilizing a Qualtrics survey that will be able to be conducted online. So there will be 6 sections. So it will be 64 items in total. So there will be a demographic information section, an administrative support section, job satisfaction, work commitment, self-efficacy, and career decision intent. So I included within each section the different Likert scale responses that participants will be choosing from and answering the different types of questions. So within each section as well, there are different number of items in this section. So just as an example, the administrative support section is the largest section with 40 items, whereas for job satisfaction, there is 1 item. For the qualitative data collection, so just to give you a little bit on the sampling too, and that wasn't necessarily a piece that I needed feedback on, but from the quantitative point, I will be utilizing 75 to 100 participants for the quantitative questionnaire, and 5 will be randomly selected out of that sample to participate in the qualitative data collection through semi-structured interviews. So within the semi-structured interviews, each participant will be interviewed for about 45 to 60 minutes through WebEx, because I'm assuming that when I conduct this study, there will be still the pandemic going on. So for all of our safety, we'll be utilizing WebEx. So these are some of the questions that I will be looking at. So within the data analysis for the quantitative research questions, I will be utilizing for the first quantitative question, descriptive statistics to identify frequencies of the various types of support to determine how provisionally licensed special education teachers, their perceptions. And then for the second one regarding the mediating variables, so job satisfaction, job commitment, self-efficacy serve as mediators. So I'm thinking about utilizing regression to predict mediation between the different mediating variables, including job satisfaction, job commitment, self-efficacy, between administrative support and career decisions. For the qualitative, so within the semi-structured interviews, the transcripts will be transcribed, and they will be analyzed utilizing open coding to initially label categories or codes, axial coding to make connections to categories, and then those categories will be analyzed to generate themes. So for both mixed research questions, the one specifically measuring teacher effectiveness according to special education teacher perceptions will be utilizing the same type of analysis. So quantitatively, a series of ANOVAs and t-tests will be conducted to compare the administrative support scale by categories. And then independent t-tests will be used to compare total scores of administrative support by race and gender. And a series of ANOVAs will be utilized to analyze administrative support by instructional setting, disability category, and years teaching. So also in order to determine the statistical significance between groups, I'm thinking about utilizing a post hoc test. Qualitative data, again, from the previous screen, will be drawn by codes, categories, and themes developed from semi-structured interviews. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and attention during this presentation. Your feedback is really important for helping to influence my thinking as a researcher and scholar as I continue on this work. So I really appreciate any feedback that you can provide.